Well, it's 5 minutes past the hour. What's going on, social media family? As we are broadcasting live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building. How are y'all doing on this fourth day of May, the day before Cinco de Mayo? And yeah, I'm Bizak. I'm in the building, and it is a great Sunday. Hopefully, you have enjoyed your day. I know a lot is going on. I know that there is a big NBA game that's going down where there will be an elimination of either the Golden State Warriors or the Houston Rockets. So I know a lot of folks are watching basketball. I'm going to let people join in, share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. I am in the building on a Sunday, 6 minutes past the hour. And with so much going on, I had to jump on and make a few announcements because people have been calling, asking, inboxing me about community conversations, about hashtag truth be told, about things that we are doing. And are we forever gone? No, we're not. And I'm going to let some folks get in, share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm in the building. Fourth day, May the 4th of all days. I am making this announcement, and folks who know me know I'm a big Star Wars fan. May the 4th be with you always. I hear Obi-Wan Kenobi speaking to me, and Yoda saying, judge me not by my size, do you? The 2025 Essence Music Festival of Culture is coming to New Orleans. Y'all get ready, get ready, get ready. As you know, 30 years strong. This will be the 31st Essence Music Festival. And I have been at all 30. 31 is coming up. So tell a friend to tell a friend. You want more information, go to www.dthe100blk.com. So tell a friend to tell a friend, share this with a friend. Come on in. I'm going to take my time. Lot going on. Lot going on. Um, Tariffs, I didn't say anything. Trump renaming 50 million things. I didn't say anything. I think he's going to rename Turkey into chicken, the country of Turkey. I think he'll say, hey, I'm going to rename it to chicken, whatever. There's a lot that I haven't spoke on. A lot I haven't been on for a while. I've been away. Some folks may say that I've been absent. Had to get to a quiet place and let the Lord speak to me. So, sometimes you just got to get away, let God speak to you, trust God in the process, and keep doing what you do. But hashtag truth be told is on its way back. It's going to be a little different, but it is on its way back, and it's going to be bigger, better, and stronger. Um, wow, a lot happened. The Timberwolves beat the Lakers. Oh my God. And folks are like, wow. Hey, everything has a beginning, has an end. That's from the Matrix. Everything that has a beginning has an end. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Come on in. Come on in. Share with a friend. Yours truly, Joe Dupree, back in the building. Be exact. If you would like to join me, I'm just going to do things totally different. If you would like to join me, you can. I'm actually putting uh, into the post. I am putting in the link. So if you would like to join, you can join in. I will also be sharing that same link to Facebook and to other places. So if you want to be a part of all of this, you can come on in, come on down, as they say. You can definitely come on down. Let me see. Why did it do that? I don't know. Uh, but if you want to be a part of this, you can come on in. I'm actually going to put the link into Facebook. So there's a link in Facebook. I'm also going to put the link in Instagram. If you want to be a part of this, you can come on in. I am going to make sure that everybody, no, not going to do it like that. I do it like this. There you go. So you can come on in if you want to come on in. If you want to call in, I'm going to be opening up the phone lines very soon. So tell a friend to tell a friend. I am in the building. Welcome to JD Live, a part of community conversations. So much is going on. Election time has came in Louisiana, as many other places. Some great things have occurred locally, statewide, nationally, and even worldwide. And, of course, tragically, we had the passing of the Pope. They'll be doing a conclave to bring out a new Pope. just so much going on. So much going on. Still a lot of violence going on. Every time I turn around, there's in my local city, tragically, young lady lost her life through a relationship. The person that was in the relationship with her killed her, then killed himself. Sad and tragic. Still a lot of youth violence going on. You know, I just looked at victims getting gunned down in Houston at a barbecue. I'm asking myself, my God, what is really going on? Uh, and we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into those conversations. Hashtag truth be told will be coming back. Let me go ahead and hook up the phone lines. You might want to call in. You're welcome to call in because I said to myself, you know, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to start having conversation that matters. Conversation that matters. I am so blessed to have a great group of folks around me. Everybody from Sister Jax, Alethea Crimmins, uh, Chris Moran, Sean P, just to name a few. I say go support all those folks and what they do on their own individual platforms. When we come together and we speak in the manners that we speak and we try to get positive messages out there. Look, this was this honor was bestowed upon me, and I would be remiss if I didn't take time out to say much love to the STA, to the Southern Tea Awards, to Destiny Livings and her crew. That was a Lifetime Achievement Award. I have been doing this for 40 years. 40 years. My God, I started when I was 17, bumping my gums. And some folks who remember me, we actually had a high school stage play that the chorus and the band put together. And I was in the chorus that we were doing a radio broadcast and I was the radio announcer, which was surprising because I actually at age 17 got on the radio, got an FCC license and got on the radio at Kicks 96 FM in Jackson / Henderson, Tennessee with James Superwolf and his wife, Denise LaSalle. So I'm just on here and I'm letting more people come in, share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you want to join in, you want to say something, uh, I have a few announcements to make. I'm all about uplifting the community, uplifting individuals, uplifting those around me. So, you know, once again, I want to remind y'all the 2025 Essence Music Festival of Culture is coming. 4th of July weekend, New Orleans. If you have nowhere else you need to be, definitely have your face in the place. It is all about us, and we love us, and you will go down to New Orleans and have a great time, an enjoyable time at the Essence Music Festival of Culture. Um, I want to throw a question out there to some of y'all. How are y'all really doing? We have experienced the first 100 days of the Trump presidency. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Uh, you know, I have dealt with my ups and downs in the last year, 6 months, beginning of the year. Everything from an injury. I am recovering well from my Achilles injury. I had a ruptured Achilles. It was repaired. It retore, and I'm still recovering, but I'm doing well. I'm back on my feet. I'm walking with some mobility, having to be careful. So, how are y'all doing? How is your health doing? How many of you have been to your doctor for a checkup? How many of you have said, look, my health is my wealth, and not only my physical health, but my mental health? How many of you have talked to your counselor, your psychologist, your somebody, your life coach, somebody who can pour into you? And not only that your physical part of you is good, but how's your mental health doing? And definitely check out my girl, Alethea Crimmins. She's doing her thing with her podcast in the passenger seat. She has a big event when it comes down to health and wellness that's going to be going down in Orlando, Florida. I definitely want you to find out all you can find out about that. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm in here and I ain't going to be here long. I ain't going to be here long. It's 15 minutes past the hour. Share this with a friend. We are broadcasting live on Facebook. We are on Instagram and we are on YouTube. And you can catch us at these places. Let me throw a little something up there where you can know exactly where you can go find us at. That's where you can find us at. On Instagram, it's at the JDMS. On YouTube, it's at 100BLK Media. And of course, our website is the 100blk.com. Definitely go there. You can catch up with everything going on in the urban community, everything from sports to community activities to music to gospel. Big ups to my man Ro Wright doing his thing. We've got some great Afro beats music with his station, along with 100BLK, that is rolling on 100blk.com, the 100blk.com. So it is 16 minutes past the hour. Let me open up the phone lines and let me just get into some just general conversation. There's so much going on. There are some places that are preparing for the future, for what is next. I say that all of us need to be preparing for what is next. All of us need to be thankful for now, reflective on what was, but preparing for if the sun comes out tomorrow, where will we be? I know there are people dealing with taxes and new taxes and the renewal of taxes. You know, I always tell people this. I look at the money I make on a weekly, daily, monthly basis, on a yearly basis. And I ask myself, let's just throw out a round number, 100,000. Let's say 40% of my 100,000 was taken away from me on a yearly basis. That I went from $100,000 where I had budgeted my lifestyle around $100,000 for savings, for food, for housing, for automobile, for insurance, and all of a sudden something miraculously happened and 40% of my income was snatched away from me, or 30% of my income was snatched away from me. That would be $30,000 to $40,000. That means I would go from 100,000 to making 70,000 or 60,000. Now I know those are once again, I'm just giving out some hypothetical numbers. When folks who are elected officials, who are the stewards of our well-being, when they begin to cut services 10, 20, 30, 40%, ask yourself this, and let me go on a smaller scale because I might be talking large numbers. Folks might not want to hear that. Let's say you made $1,000 a month and miraculously something happened and 40% of your income was cut. You went from making $1,000 a month to making $600 a month, but you had to make that $600 work like that $1,000 because you don't want to lose anything. You don't want to lose nothing. You want your lifestyle to stay the same. You don't want anything. The bills are still what the bills are, but now you've lost 40% of your income, $400 if you're making $1,000 a month. Family, I say this because as we move forward, and I will be talking about other issues, sometimes you got to ask yourself, did these people we elect to office really have our best interests in mind? Or are they on a personal vendetta to get people back because of some crazy wild hair they got up their butt that basically said, I don't like this person. I don't have to like you or agree with you to agree with you on what is best for the community and best for the people that live in the community. And sometimes I ask myself, why do we elect some of these folks to office? They have absolutely no idea of what they're doing. And watch this. If they would treat the budgets and the funding that is available to them as if it was their own money, instead of, it's not my money, it really doesn't affect my household, it really doesn't do anything to me, I'm going to be perfectly fine no matter what the outcome comes, I think we would see a different attitude with folks. I'll address that at a later date. I just wanted to tell y'all that hashtag truth be told, community conversations, Wellness Wednesday, and so much more is coming back, along with 100BLK continuously supporting our community and supporting everyone that is in it. We are BLK for a reason. We are Black, and we are very appreciative that we are Black. We love that what we do is to uplift the Black and brown communities, and we ain't got no smoke with no other community. It's just that we started home before we spread charity abroad. And right now, I think we really need to start looking at one another. I mean, good friend of mine, Jax. You know Jax. Jax is a part of hashtag Truth Be Told. She's a part of our community conversations. Be it that we do it hashtag Truth Be Told in the morning at our regular times, or if we do it at nighttime in the PM. She does also to connect the dots. You know, it's coming back. We're going to be doing so much. It's just so much that is about to come. But I wanted y'all to know, and y'all can let me know how y'all feel about this. I'm also here to help you. So let's say that you have a podcast or you have something that you want to try to do, but you have not been able to do it. Either you don't have the means, you don't have the knowledge. I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to help you get your idea off the ground. Yeah, call me, talk to me, tell me something. I'm like, yeah, say something. You know, I'm here to show love. Uh, I'm here to help folks. My good friend, big ups to the graduating class of some great law enforcement officers that graduated here in Louisiana, in Southern Louisiana, from Alita and from the training center at St. Martinville. My good friend, Officer Jordan Elizabeth Salters is on here, and I got nothing but love for her. I know Crawfish Festival is going down. We got festivals in Louisiana. If you ain't never been to Louisiana, come to Louisiana. You going to get a party no matter when you come down here. It's either going to be Mardi Gras, Crawfish Festival, Strawberry Festival. It's going to be something. Festival International. Somebody going to be doing something. So Zydeco, somebody going to be doing something. You cannot come down here and not have a good time. You're going to have a good time. You're going, as they say here, you're going to pass a good time. Somebody going to be doing something somewhere. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building. 22 minutes past the hour. I am feeling invigorated. I am feeling renewed. I am going to post positivity. I'm going to continue to talk. I got folk coming on these podcasts that you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. If you think you've seen some pictures of me with folks, stars, and people at Essence, you ain't seen nothing yet. We're going to have local folks. We're going to have state folks. We're going to have national folks. We're going to have politics, entertainers. We're going to have individuals who have a word that will inspire, uplift, inform, and transform. Too many times what we do, we try to get on here for click, like, and share. And I'm not here for click, like, and share. I'm here to elevate my people. I'm here to tell you that even if you don't begin believing in you, who will believe in you? You got to believe in yourself. You've got to sometimes, when the world is against you and it's just you, stand up with only you and know that God's got your back, and go out there and do what you got to do to get what you got to get and be who you need to be. And guess what? When you learn the lesson from you being by yourself, don't let that riffraff back in your house once you make it where you need to make it to. It is times like this. It is times of being alone. It is times when folks are laughing at you. It is times when folks don't believe in you and don't believe in your dreams. It is times when people are lying on you, talking about you, laughing at you, that you need to take note of who those people are. Because the word of God says he will prepare a table for you in the presence of. And guess what? When he prepares the table and they sit down, let them have their seat. Let them see you doing well. And guess what? Dismiss them quickly. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because folk are funny. Folk are funny. Folk are funny. Folk will smile in your face and the whole time be plotting and planning against you as they smile in your face. But guess what? That's okay. It's not your job. It's not your job to retaliate. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Sometimes you got to look at folks and let them do what they say, do what they do, be how they are, act as they act, and still love them in spite of. Love them from a distance. You ain't got to love them up close, but love them from a distance. See, I don't have to respond with evil. I don't have to do that. You be as that. You don't fight fire with fire. If you have fire and you throw more fire on it, it just makes it a bigger fire. You fight fire with water. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to teach. Listen, I stay in this word for myself. Not a preacher, not a teacher, not an evangelist, really not a politician, though I worked in politics. I'm just a person who believes that if we truly begin to support one another, uplift one another, and stop hating on one another, if we have more collaboration than competition, we really can get somewhere. But the problem is most of you are too busy competing with one another, trying to see who got the biggest rollie, who's got the best car, who's got the biggest house, who wears the nicest clothes, who's got the finest man or the woman, who balling the biggest, who can buy more bottle service than the other. And don't get me wrong, I love nice things, but I know there's a cost to everything. And the question is, have any of us or most of us even ask ourselves, what is the ultimate price are we paying for what we're trying to do or where we're trying to go? I'm just asking. I came on here because I've been quiet for a while. And I kept asking myself, man, why are you being quiet? Why are you not doing these podcasts? Why are you not speaking to the people? Because there's a lot of folks speaking to the people. I'm not here to be loud. I'm not here to be click, like, and share. I'm not here to collect a paycheck. I'm here to inform, to inspire, to elevate, and to transform. By letting you know that all you have to do is trust God and trust yourself. Trust him first. You got to put your trust into his hands and allow him to do for you what you can't do for yourself. It's real talk. I'm just saying. Let me do this. Once again, I put a link. There's a link on Facebook. There's a link on Instagram. And there's a link on YouTube. Should you want to join into the conversation, I'm more than happy to bring you on the screen. Or if you want to call in, let me turn on the phone and get the phone line started. Family, we really need a platform where we can speak about what we want to speak about unapologetically, unbothered, and at a place that we can agree to disagree without us falling out with one another. I'm so sick and tired of podcasts where literally we are arguing, fussing, fighting, throwing stuff at each other. And at the end of the day, it looks like we can't even talk like civilized human beings to one another without one of us losing our tops. We got to stop that, because what example, and I will say this, what example are we showing the children? What example are we showing our future generations when we can't even get along with one another? We got to do better. We got to do better. And that's just not me saying we got to do better. That's me telling you we got to do better. And we can do better. I think the last time I got on here, everybody was losing their wig over Marvin Sapp saying, close the doors. Close the doors. If we don't know how to financially support one another, who gonna do it for us? I'm just asking. I really didn't know why God told me, man, get on there. I'm going to give you what to say. And I was like, God, I really don't want to get on this Sunday. And God said, no, let them know 15 minutes you're going on. We're going to talk. Once again, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an evangelist. You don't see me running a thing at the bottom saying, sow into my ministry, sow into me. I have a business. I have a business that I own, a business that is registered with the federal government, that is registered with the Secretary of State. I do voice work. I do video work. I do commercials. I do voiceovers. I have, if your children are playing video games, believe it or not, my voice is on a lot of those video games. I don't run around and brag about that. I do it. I get my paycheck. I try to pay what bills I can, and I keep it moving, because I am nowhere close to being a multimillionaire yet. It's on its way. And I know me saying that will make some folks say, you got the audacity and the nerves. I do. Because I believe God has already made me wealthy. It just hasn't manifested in the physical yet. I believe that God knows my heart, and he knows that once he places me and puts me where I really need to be, I'm going to help. I'm already helping everybody around me. I help haters. I help people. I help people that I know are literally, as soon as I help them, they're not going to speak to me another day of my life. I help them anyway. I show them love anyway. I show them love anyway. Because I know this. I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their seeds begging bread. I ain't never seen that. You know, I watched The Prince of Egypt again, and I realized something. You can be raised in the house of the enemy only to come back and let that same individual know that my God said, the people that you put in bondage, who are my people, that you did not know was my people because I was found in the river in a basket. My God sent me back to tell you to let them go. You know, I was thinking about Joseph today. Joseph didn't ask for the gift that he was blessed to have. He didn't ask for his father, who recognized the gift, to give him the colorful coat. And some of y'all have to understand, with the gift that y'all have, there's going to come some persecution. There's going to come some trying times. They're going to come individuals who cannot stand you, not because it's you, it's because of the gift that is on your life. It is because the anointing God has blessed you with. Some of you have been blessed with the anointing of beauty, and there are folks that hate on you all the time. She thinks she cute. Yes, she is blessed with the anointed power of being a beautiful person. There are individuals who are blessed that can eat all day and not gain a pound. They have great physiques. They look good. Oh, they think they something. See, y'all have to remember this. If Jesus Christ, the one that many of us worship and say is the Lord and Savior of our life and at the center of our heart, and we proclaim all this stuff, if Jesus Christ himself came into Jerusalem, and the same folks that said, Hosanna, Hosanna, threw down palm leaves and rode the man around town and paraded him like the man is here. If 3 days later, them same folks said, crucify him, what do you think folk gonna do to you? Stop worrying about folk. Stop worrying about folk. That's our problem. We're too busy worried about click, like, and share. Will they click it? Will they like it? Will they share it? Guess what? If God told you to do it, don't worry about what they say or what they do. Do what God told you to do and know that he has your ultimate reward. Y'all are too busy putting stuff on folk that really you should put on God. You know, about 14 hours ago, I said this, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart, and I'm going to read it again because I don't know who needs to hear this. But you, yes, you need to believe in you, even when nobody else does. I'm going to say that again. I don't know who needs to hear this right now. I don't know who's on here right now, but you might need to share this with somebody who needs to hear this. You, yes, you need to believe in you, even when nobody else does. I know it gets heavy carrying dreams that nobody else can see. Stay motivated when life keeps hitting you and you keep showing up even when you're tired. I know, but that's what you got to do, because you got to believe in you when nobody else does. Even when the support is silent, even when there's crickets, even when you look at your numbers and you say, "Oh my God, let me say this. Everybody out there that might be getting the click, like, and share, and everybody that's getting the applause that you think they're getting, you might want to ask yourself at what cost? At what cost? And even when your own mind starts doubting the vision, because that happens, you'll sit there and say, Lord, you told me to do this, but I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't get it. A lot of times, folk will try not to show you the real them, especially on these platforms, because they have to keep up a facade to make you feel like they got all the answers. I don't have none of the answers. I often say when I come on this platform or I'm on hashtag truth be told, I'm on community conversations, I'm on connect the dots. I'm not here to tell you how to think or what to think, but I am telling you it is time for you to begin to think. Begin to use what you have been given to try to get what you need to get and trust God in all of it. I'm just saying. Because you, yes, you need to believe in you when nobody else does. Like I said, and even when your mind starts doubting the vision, and it's hard, I know, showing up for a version of you that is not fully there yet. Been there, done that, still doing it. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, if this is what I'm supposed to be, you got to understand, you got to go through the process to get to the promise. That's what God wanted me to tell y'all. To get to the promise, you got to go through the process. Remember, I was telling you about the guy in the Bible named Joseph. He had to go through the process to get to the promise. And in going through the process to get to the promise, you got to stay faithful and diligent to who you are. In order to get to the promise, you got to go through the process and you can't switch up. You got to stay consistent on who you are. You got to show up for a version of you that may not be fully there yet. And that takes a lot of courage that most folks don't even want to talk about. To wake up every morning knowing that you're going through the fire of the refining to become who you see way down the line. You got to fight for the life that you want. And you got to be consistent. And you got to understand that the only person that can stop you is God and yourself. And just because it's delayed does not mean that it's denied. Yeah, sometimes things get postponed, pushed back. Doesn't mean it's over. 39 minutes past the hour. I'm only going to stay on here for an hour because I wanted to tell you, guess who's Bizak? Sometimes you got to clap for yourself. If nobody else will clap for you, sometimes you got to clap for yourself. Guess who's Bizak? Listen, always remember this. If you give up on you, who's left to fight for the life that you want? If you give up on you, who's left to fight for the life that you want? This season is testing your consistency, not your worth. I want to say that one more again. Y'all need to share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This season is testing your consistency, not your worth. You got to keep going, keep pushing, keep believing. You cannot lose you in the process of becoming the you that you see down the line. I'm just saying. Listen, and let me say this, none of this is going to be easy. There will be times that you will say, how will I pay this bill? There will be times that you will say, why are my friends not talking to me? Because they're not your friends. Mm. There are times that you're going to say, why is my work colleagues not acting like we're a family? Because they're not your family. They're your work colleagues. See, me and Jax was going to get on here, and I think, you know what? I'm going to reach out to Jax. I'm going to reach out and see what Jax come on. I'm going to reach out. She might be busy. I'm going to actually call her. I hope I got my phone line set up. I'm actually going to call Jax. Let me see what Jax answered the phone. See, I'm the type of person, you ain't got to call me. I'll call you. I'm really going to do this. I'm going to see what Jax come on. Because we were going to talk about Sinners. And y'all got to, if you haven't seen the movie, and I know there's different people out there with different opinions about the movie, at the end of the day, watch what you will. You have to know what you allow to go past your eyes, your ears, and all your senses. Some of y'all take stuff way too personal, way too personal, way too personal. You're just supposed to see it and say, okay, and get what you need to get from it. But some of y'all want to sound deep. I can't sound deep no more. I can only be me. Okay, let me see what Jax pick up. Let me see, do I got my phones hooked up? I don't. Hold on. I don't. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So let me do it like this. See what Jackie Jax answer. She might not. Jackie Jax, hey, can you come on for a minute? I'm on live right now. Would you be willing to come on if I shot you a link right quick? That's right. No, if you're doing something, we can do it later. It's all good. It's just if you wanted to, I'll shoot it to you if you want me to. If not, continue your family time. All right, I'll do that, and I'll stay on. No problem. It's 43 minutes after. Okay, Jackson's going to be coming on. I'm going to actually send her an invite, so she can come on. So I'll do that. Hold on. And that's how we do it. Listen, family, I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm just here. Hold on. La la la. I'm here really talking, but I want y'all really to catch where I'm coming from. Okay, so she will probably be on in a few. When she comes on, she comes on. Be exact. I need to see, does Alethea want to come on? Maybe I can do that too. Because I've been on. I've been talking for about 45 minutes. So let me first get my phone lines. I thought I had my phone. See there? See what a brother be doing? Now I can teach y'all how to do all this, but it is some work to be done. I'm telling you. Because I thought, okay, watch this. I bet you Alethea's on. And I get Alethea if she's big, because I know she just finished doing her podcast. Oh, let's see, can I get Alethea? Let me see. Do I have the phone lines up? Aha. Yeah, they do. They up. Aha. Got the phone lines working.
Hello.
Alethea,
Hey.
what up, sis? Listen, I am right now on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram doing my thing. If I sent you a link, would you want to come on and be with your brother for a minute? I sent Jackson a link. She said she'll be on in about 15 minutes. Now I know you just got off. I know I'm just shooting in the dark. And if you're busy, that's okay. But I just wanted to call and ask you, did you want to come on for a minute?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a link. I'll see you in a minute. See there?
Okay.
All right. See that, family? See how I do it? Just like that. Hold on. So let me send her a link too. And I'm about to get my sisters in here. Because like I told you, I had an announcement to make, and really, I really should have made it with them. But I wanted to just tell you, regardless, this train gonna keep on going. So let me see here. Alethea. Oh, okay. There we go. Boom. Okay, so let me send this to her, and I'm gonna stay on here. Aha, that part. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, we're coming back. We're about to be back, and we're going to be on top of things. And right now, we're broadcasting live on YouTube. We're on Instagram, and we're on Facebook Live. And listen, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in politics. There are some places that I just don't need to go because I just don't have the expertise to go there. But I will begin to bring people on who can speak about it because maybe y'all just need to hear folks who know what's going on where they can tell you what's going on without me putting my 2 cents in it because really my 2 cents, I don't know what's going on anyway. We need platforms where y'all can hear from the people where y'all can get some information and some information that is not tainted, information that is not coerced, information that is pure information where you can say, I can say, man, I absolutely know nothing about what they're talking about, but I know what they're talking about is important to our community, important to what happens next. Because listen, if y'all haven't paid attention, there are a lot of cuts that are being made in a lot of programs that affect Black and brown communities, Black and brown people. That's just real talk. That's just real talk. As it is 47 minutes past the hour. And I was just trying to stay on here for an hour just to tell y'all everything's coming back. And it's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. It's going to be once again us giving you the information that you need uh, so that you can at least say, I got what I need to look into it further and make a decision for what's best for me and my family. Because guess what? What might be best for you and your family might not be what's best for me and mine. But at least you have the information where you can make an informed decision without that informed decision being tainted, swayed, or it's just so much I want to say. So much I really want to say. Let me see what's going on here. The Rockets and the Warriors have started, and it is Warriors 13, Rockets 10. So, yeah, yeah. The Pacers and the Cavaliers have played also, and the Pacers won the first game. So, big ups to Indiana. I know New York is going to be moving on to play the Boston Celtics, and as much as and that's actually going to be tomorrow night. You're going to have the Celtics and the Knicks. You're going to have the Nuggets and the Thunder tomorrow night, and I'm a big time Memphis fan. I'm a Memphis Grizzly fan, and we got put out. We got put out. So I hope that Memphis doesn't make a mistake and trade one of their top players like they always do, because we traded Paul Gasol for Kwame Brown, and the only Kwame that I knew that was about anything was a guy singing about polka dots. Yeah, that Kwame. That's the only Kwame I knew that was ever about anything. And guess what? Before you know it, it will be football season again. And as you see, I am in my Southern University gear, as I will be once again back on the road with the Southern University Jaguars. Yeah, as we start off playing in the SWAC MEAC Challenge in Atlanta, Georgia. So go Jags. So, and look, with the Shedeur debacle, I didn't even come on social media and talk. Here's why. I had the honor and the privilege of interviewing Shedeur Sanders a couple of times because working for Southern University, we played D. Jackson State University when his father was there as the coach, and they had two undefeated seasons in the SWAC. Couldn't nobody beat them. They were SWAC champions. 2 years straight, undefeated seasons. I've seen Shedeur Sanders up close and personal. He is as advertised. Now, why did the NFL do Shedeur the way that they did during the draft? It was a lot reminiscent to me as Kaepernick. It's like, we are the owners. We set the standards. You don't tell us how to run this show. Because once again, we talk about greatness, and I always say, I just finished posting a post a few days ago where I put up there about greatness. And speaking of greatness, ladies and gentlemen, you know her from her podcast, In the Passenger Seat. She tells you to be great in their face and do all that stuff. Y'all put your hands together. Coming to JD Live on this Sunday is none other than the CEO of Pimpin' Positivity, Miss Alethea Crimmins herself. Hey, Alethea, how you doing, myself?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Girl, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I just jumped on here to kind of tell folks because me and God was talking to one another, and I talk to God quite often. Question is, how much do I listen to God? We talk a lot. I don't know how much I listen to him, but he told me to get on here and tell folks everything coming back. And I said, but God, he said, everything coming back. I said, hashtag, he said, everything coming back. I said, Wellness Wednesday, he said, everything coming back. I said, connect the dot, everything coming back. So I had to get on here and say, family, everything coming back. so starting and very soon, you're going to get a dose of me every day, and probably Alethea every day, and Jax every day, and everybody else every day, because I'm not only on here pushing, quote unquote, the platforms and the things that I do. I try to put everybody out there. Alethea's got a great, and I was just telling people that earlier, you have a great event coming up in Orlando, Florida. To be exact, while you are talking about that event, I'm going to pull up the event itself and let folks see the event. But you have a great event that is coming up in Orlando that folks need to know about. So go ahead. The platform is yours. Talk to them. Talk to me now. Talk to me.
It is a health and wellness retreat. It will be held in Orlando at the Hilton Resort. It will be very transformative. My goal is for you to leave different than the way that you came. We are going to really focus on knowing our inner selves, knowing who we are, becoming more self-aware, because that's a big thing. Being self-aware. We're going to do shadow work, which is really getting to know ourselves. There'll be workshops. We also have a VIP red carpet gala where you get to dress up in this, and there's a whole thing. There's even a swimsuit photo shoot for everybody who's ever felt uncomfortable in their skin. Raise his hand. Sometimes we have to get uncomfortable in order for us to be comfortable. We have to make ourselves uncomfortable, and that's how we learn to embrace everything that we are. And that's what we're going to do. Like, my goal is to help you become your favorite version of yourself, not your best, your favorite version of yourself. Because if you are your favorite, then you will be the best. So yeah, that's my event.
Yeah. So family, I'm going to be having that flyer up on my website. Of course, that's one of the events that I want y'all to know about. It's coming up in August. August will be here before you know it. Also, as you know, the CEO of Essence has reached out to me, and as every year, 100 BLK will be in the building for the 31st Essence Music Festival. And I'm just so thankful that God has blessed me in ways that I can, as I said earlier, you got to stop worrying about what folks say, and you got to do what God told you to do, and understand that your reward comes from the Lord. Even though you may do a thing and folks may do you dirty in the thing that you did, guess what? God gonna bless you and God gonna curse them. I'm just saying it. You know, too many times we don't want to talk about that part of God. But guess what? If you out there talking about Jesus, 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 Lord, 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 but you know down deep inside you doing some dirty deeds, God gonna curse you. Because God gonna reveal to the folk who you really are one day.
Hmm.
That's why I don't worry. If folk are saying what they saying, here's what I do. I go to God and I say, God, should I follow that man? Should I follow that woman? Should I believe in them? And if God tells me to do so, then guess what? I put it on God. I say, God, you told me to do this, and I went and did it. But see, many a times we follow folks for click, like, and share. We follow folks because they the thing that's going on right now. They the what's happening. They the what's it. We don't never. How many of y'all really went to God? Let's be honest, because I made this mistake in my life. You're supposed to go to God before you do anything. Any and everything. You're supposed to first go to God, and you're supposed to wait on the Lord. Wait, patience is a virtue. You're supposed to wait on God to tell you, okay, do this. How many of y'all really tell the truth? Because I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm a guilty party. How many of y'all really go to God to co-sign on your mess?
Mm-mm. And but it's said in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct our path. It didn't say in some of your ways, in the ways that when you stuck, then you come to me. When you stuck and you have exhausted all of the other ways that you have tried before me, and then now you want to come to me. He said, in all thy ways,
right,
all of them.
Right.
And I've been guilty of that too. Like I'll go ask somebody else first before I come to God, and then when everything else is messed up, I'm like, well, damn, God.
Right. Hold it. He winds up. You know why God winds up being, and it's sad, but he loves us so much. He allows us to do this. He winds up not being our advisor, our consultant, the person who talks to us before we decide to do a thing. He winds up being our life preserver. The person when the ship is sinking, he winds up being our life preserver and our lifeboat that saves us from a sinking ship that we put ourselves on, which we shouldn't have been on in the first place if we had let him, instead of being the co-pilot, let him be the pilot. See, and I'm just coming here to tell y'all this at 2 minutes to the top of the hour. And like I said, I was only planning on being on for an hour, but looks like I'm going to be on a little bit longer. Family, it's going to be okay. First of all, it's okay for you not to be okay. Number one, it's okay for you to agree, to not to agree, but not be disagreeable and ugly and mad and hating on folks because they don't see it the way you see it, or they don't roll with who you roll with, or they hang with folks that you ain't good with. It's okay. That's okay. It's okay for me to be friends with somebody who may be around folks who are not friends with me. Because guess what? If they are really quote unquote, hold on, watch this. If they really are, and I just want to say this, and Alethea, this is just my opinion. If they're really your friend, and that word is a deep word, because too many times we give associates and folks who are around us labels and titles that they really don't deserve.
Come on.
Because if they are really a friend, guess what they'll say? They'll be very honest about a few things and say, first of all, that's between y'all. My name is Paul, and that's between y'all. But since I am your friend and their friend too, leave me out that mess. Because jealousy, envy is at an all-time high. And a lot of times, confrontation, that's what it's over. It's over. Are you more my friend than you are their friend? And guess what? Like I tell folks, if you really my friend, you will let other folks know. You might not see it the way I see it or know him the way I know him, but he's a good dude. Period. You will defend my name when I ain't around. You'll be the first one to tell folks. You'll be the first one to tell folks when they go, how can you hang with so and so? He not what you heard. She not what you heard. I understand that this person may have experience a part of them that I haven't experienced yet. And I'm not saying I will experience that part, but that person is a good person to me. And guess what? I've discovered this. Some folk who will be good to you won't be good to everybody else. Favor ain't fair. It's kind of like Pilate. You know, I hate to get into this word on folks because once again, my disclaimer is I'm not a preacher, a teacher, a prophet. I'm not here with a cash app running at the bottom saying, sow into my ministry. But let me say this, in this Bible, Pilate even said, hold up, y'all. I'm a Roman. I really don't believe like y'all believe, but I'm wise enough to know an innocent man when I see an innocent man. So let me wash my hands. Y'all decide who go to the cross because somebody got to get crucified today. I'm not going to choose, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an innocent man before you and I'm going to put a criminal before you. Y'all choose who go to the cross. I'm washing my hands. See, once again, some folks are wise enough to say when the record reads, why'd you do it? They told me to. just think about that. They told me to. So watch this. And you can't be concerned about, and I just said this earlier, Alethea, too many times to get to the promise, we negate that we got to go through the process. And in the process, there may be a lot of persecution.
Oh, yes.
But in the process to get to the promise, if you are being persecuted and you stay true to yourself and consistent to doing what you know is right, when you get to the promise, you can always look back and say, I didn't have to sleep with, I didn't have to talk about, I didn't have to lie on, I didn't have to backstab, I didn't have to see, because like I tell folk, a lot of stuff gonna always come out in the wash. I have never seen, even in my life, I tell folk all the time, you can lie to some of the people some of the time. If you good, you can lie to all the people all the time. But the two folks you can't lie to is yourself and God.
Okay.
And sooner or later, he will put you out there where what is in the darkness will come to the light.
People, you know, people always ask me how I got to where I am. How did I get on like national TV? How did I get all these followers? How did I what did I have to do? Like there was some type of trick that I did, or somebody who I knew that got me where it got. No, I was me. I was me. Like I didn't try to be anybody else. I didn't lie on nobody. I didn't have to. My biggest flex is I don't have to.
Right. Hold on, Alethea. Let us be very earnest about something. And I say this all the time because we all have our own shortcomings. One of my shortcomings is, as educated as I am, I mispronounce many of your words, and I will mispronounce your name in a heartbeat. You have a very clear speech impediment. They ain't holding you back. They ain't holding
At
you
all.
back. Hold on. Let's see what Jax wants. Jackie Jax.
Okay. Are you guys off?
No, we still on. We on.
I don't know. So ended. Okay, look, let me hang up and try to get back in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, eventually Jax is getting ready to come on. So, you know, and when Jax come on, we're going to talk about, because she really wanted to talk about sinners. And I have seen sinners now multiple times. And we're going to try to get into that conversation. But one thing I want to say is, listen, once again, let me tell you something. God can take your mistakes and your shortcomings and make that the foundation for the biggest success story that the world has ever heard or ever known. I'm just saying that. I'm just really, really want to tell you that. You know, stop being so hard on yourself. That's one thing that God told me in this time of me not being on social media, not being on my platforms, not being out. Stop being so hard on yourself. Go out there, say what you need to say. Understand everybody's not going to agree with you. Everybody's not going to like you. That's not what you're doing this for. You're doing this to make people think. I'm here to give you an opportunity and a space and a place where you can have conversation and you don't have to feel like you're being attacked. You don't have to feel like people think that you're a dummy or somebody's talking about you. You are able to come on here and talk about what you want to talk about to the length that you feel like it needs to be talked about, with us being quiet and no judgment. This is the no judgment zone. At the end of the day, we may have our opinion, we may have the way we see things, but at the end of the day, there's no judgment here. We're not going to judge you. We're not going to judge you. And speaking of judging, and speaking of great people and thinking about a life coach, because I was telling y'all, some of y'all go see your doctor. You need to go see your life therapist, your coach, and all that. Let me bring my good friend on here. Jackie Jax is in the building. Jackie Jax is in the building.
What's up, family? What's up? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? What's up, Sister Alethea?
Hey.
What's up, Brother Joe? Good to see you guys.
Hey, what's happening?
Good to see you.
It's 6 minutes past the hour. We're with the life strategist, the art therapist, the speaker, the author. We're talking about a plethora of things. First of all, I came on here by myself, but I called y'all on to tell you that the good Lord himself, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, everything's coming back. And I was like, and I kind of was like, what? That's actually how I was with him.
Okay.
What? I said, and you know, he said,
Admit.
don't say but. He said, everything's coming back. He said, hashtag truth be told, connect the dots, hashtag truth be told in the PM. He said, everything's coming back.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, guy. And he was like, just pick up this staff, go back to Pharaoh, and know that I'm with you.
That's right.
We got this.
That's right.
So much has happened. And so within this next hour, I'm going to get into some of that and see what you ladies
Wait, can we just pause right quick?
Come on.
Jax.
Yes, my sister.
I need to know right now in this minute so that I can write it down. Where did you get your lipstick from?
Oh, you know what? I think it might be Ellen Tracy, maybe. I'm not sure, but you know what?
Because I need that shade, because that red is popping and I need it in my life.
You know what? When we are done, I will take a picture of it and I will text it to you. And it goes on so smooth and it feels good on your lips. So it's definitely a good one. And I'm not one to spend I like nice things, but I'm definitely not going to spend a lot of money on stuff at all. I know how the stuff is made and I know how much it costs to be made. So Sister Jax likes nice things, but in an economical fashion. So I know it didn't cost a ton, but it's beautiful. So thank you.
But no, okay. So I want everybody who's listening and who's watching to notice what just happened. Okay. Because a lot of times that don't happen like that. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of us want to gatekeep and be like, well, I asked my sister, where did you get this from? Because it looks good. It took nothing from her. It took nothing from her to tell me where she got it from. But oftentimes we want to gatekeep. Like this happened to me recently. Like I was like, girl, I love this top. Like where did you get it from? And she was like, oh, well, I don't want to tell you because I got.
That is so crazy.
But people are really like this because they don't want you to have what they have.
That's right. But you know what that goes back to? That goes back to a poverty mentality.
Yeah,
So even if you grow up and achieve an education and you achieve wealth, if you still started out in poverty pretty much or around it in some capacity, when you have that poverty mentality, you are so scared that somebody else is going to look better than you, be smarter than you, have more money than you. So you don't want to tell. But when you break free from that poverty mentality, it's all love. You got to share with your brothers and sisters what you got, how you got it, and how they can get it too.
Right. Because there's room in the village for everybody. And it's room for everybody to be successful at their own level. Some of you might be successful as bakers at a bakery. Some of y'all might be successful as cleaners, at owning your own cleaners. Some of you, all this is needed in the community because we need our clothes clean. We need to go and get sweet stuff from the bakery. Your success might be, you might be the person who does the advertising to let everybody know where everything's at. Everybody has their own lane of doing things, and we need to have more respect for individuals who do what they do. And if they're successful in it, guess what? My job is to collaborate, not to compete and to
That's right.
criticize. My job is to say, guess what? I cheer you on. What can I do to help you be better? And what can you do to help me be better? With
That's
that
right.
being said, it is 10 minutes past the hour. One of the things that happened that we didn't get a chance to talk about because we weren't doing podcasting at this time or any type of conversation. We were all in our own little spaces. My God, did y'all see what happened to my man Shannon Sharp? Shannon Sharp. Now, Shannon Sharp with his now I'm 50. Hold on. I can talk about Shannon because Joe Dupree is 57 years old. Shannon Sharp is 56 years old. But Shannon Sharp decided to go out there and get him a teeny bopper. Now, look,
Yeah.
I don't care if she was black, white, green, blue, purple with antennas on her head and went bitty beep bop. Child was old enough to be my daughter. Now look at
And
the,
he is
look at
too.
the- and his too. And so look at the bond. Now let me say this. I'm not here to criticize anybody or to talk in a negative manner about anybody, but sometimes you got to pay attention. And first of all, if a person, in my humble opinion, this is just my opinion, if a person is old enough to be your child, that just don't sit right with me.
Yeah.
That just don't sit right with me. If that person is old enough to be your child, now I can understand if there's some years difference, 5, 10, 15 years difference. But if that person is old enough to be literally your child, it just don't sit right with me. And it makes me ask myself this question. Are black men, because the tables have turned, we can be honest about it. There used to be a time like in the 60s and the 70s and the early 80s, there was a whole lot of women and there was a whole lot of men and a few women. That's why women were put on these pedestals. But seems to be that thing has changed now, that there's a whole bunch of women and very few men, that men are being approached by 8 to 80 dumb, cripple, and crazy. And I don't say that in a manner to be funny, but it's just like, it seems like there's a lot of women and they're not scared to go after men for whatever reason. Money, power, a lack of men, or whatever. So we didn't talk about this, but how would you feel? And I'm just asking because I have daughters how would you feel if your daughter let you know that she's in a relationship with a person that is literally your age or older? How would you feel? Jax, I'll start with you.
Hell no, right? You know what? Okay, the first thing I would do is say, where did I go wrong? As the mom, because I would feel that I must have dropped the ball somewhere for her to even think that was acceptable. First of all, just my opinion, right? And then I would just look at the larger picture, like, baby, like, what are you missing? Like, what do you need? Like I said, I would mainly take the onus for it, but once they become adults, they can do whatever it is that they want to do. But there's something missing in that woman, but there's for sure something missing in that man if he finds it okay. I've heard grown men say, well, shit, she's grown, she's 18. But my daughter at 18 years old right now, I'll be damned if somebody, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old on up is trying to holler at my young daughter. I mean, I find that, disgraceful, disgusting, inappropriate, but it works.
Because
for
what
people.
you
If it works
want.
for you,
Okay, so let's go to Alethea. Alethea,
Because
if your daughter came with a person that was your age or older, what would your response be?
What the fuck does he want with you?
Exactly.
What?
One thing,
no,
right?
No,
Yeah.
what do you want? What?
Yeah.
What? So he can't get that from nobody his age. So he's preying on you. And and I don't care if, hey, little girl, you want some candy, because that is what that's given. Hey,
That's right.
hey, little girl, you want some candy? And then I'm gonna look at her like, girl, like how? So this man, this grown man, that is your daddy's age. Just think about that. That is equivalent to you sleeping with your daddy. See,
Exactly.
I'm going to put it on her mind. You're sleeping with your father.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so so
Shit, I
so
mean,
let me
in some cases, Joe, it's
let's
the
change
granddaddy.
let's change the gender. What happened? Your son came home
Mhm.
and said, "Mama, I'm sleeping with a woman that's your age or older." What would your response be? Let me start off with you this time, Alethea.
What the fuck
Yep,
does she want with you?
that's right.
What can my son, my youngest son is 20 years old.
Mm.
I am 45. I need to know what a 45-year-old would want with my 20-year-old son who works
That's right.
at Raising Cane's. What does he have to offer your
Oh,
45-year-old ass
Ass.
except
okay.
for some,
Hold on.
some young penis?
Y'all bookmark
That's
this.
right, Alethea.
I'm gonna tell you what she probably won't, because they make a song about it. You know, J Paul say she want that wood.
Penis.
She want
Yeah,
that wood. That
yeah.
older. So and it's just like the older. Okay, but watch this. Something that was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. Older folks like dealing with younger folks because they literally know they got the upper hand on most younger
Mhm.
folks mentally. Not physically, but mentally. Most
Control.
older folks can control and manipulate a younger person much easier than they can someone their own age.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So and that's male or female. I just throwing it out there because when
yeah,
folks come
and-
back and look at this, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get some emails, some texts, and I
yeah.
could care less. At the end of the day, to be exact, while y'all talking, let me see, can I get one more person in here?
Well, see, because
And- Mhm.
I'm not gonna fall for the shit that my daughter will fall for. Why? Because I've been there, done that, wrote several
right.
books, so I know the game. My daughter is 23 years old. She just started to live life,
Mhm.
so she doesn't really know. And you're here feeding her all these rainbows and butterflies and making it sound real good,
Yeah,
especially if they have daddy issues.
yeah.
It sounds really good, and they don't know the game because they just
Mhm.
started playing it.
Exactly,
So they don't know that this grown ass man is running game, but everything that he's saying sounds so good.
Mhm.
Sounds so good.
That's
I
right.
mean, and once again, I'm not just wanting to put it on the males because I did not know that there are 11 levels in this thing with women, because I know we call
Oh
them
yeah,
cougars and pumas, but I didn't know that if you're past 50, you're a thundercat.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I have heard that these thundercats, now I'm in my 50s, about to soon be in my 60s, but I heard these thundercats are on the loose.
No,
Mhm.
you know what? I'm gonna tell. They are. It's funny. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and she's in Hollywood, and we talked about some stuff, and it's crazy because she was at an event recently, and some of those other Hollywood chicks were trying to holler at her young son. And these are women that we see on television all the time. So yeah, they definitely are thundercats, whatever you want to call them, perverts, whatever it is. But we definitely have to do a deeper dive into it, Joe, because it's so real, and it happens so often. And these poor little young boys get caught up with these crazy ass older
Mhm.
women, with a multiplicity of issues, right? That now they project on this little boy and have their head all twisted, just like these older men will have these little young girls' minds all twisted. But then you also got the same sex on the same sex as well. Oh, right? Alethea, you got
Right.
older, women with trying to get with these other young girls.
Young girls.
And these old gay men trying to get with these little young gay boys.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Or
Now-
trying to make them go that way.
Now,
So,
now,
Yes.
now, hold on.
yeah, it doesn't discriminate.
Now this is not to put anything out there. Not too very long in our area, Jax,
Okay.
there was an older man I think he was in his 70s, who was having a relationship with a younger man. I think the
Yeah.
young man was in his 20s.
Mhm.
And one of the social media viral clips that went loose was them chasing this young man in the police car
Mm.
that he had stole the car from the old man because he had killed the old man and cut his head
Right.
off
Woo.
and was riding around in his car with his head in the car. Now,
Jesus Christ.
the young man's sister went on social media and said
Mm.
this old man deserved to die because he had been raping her brother for years.
Woo.
But when it all came out in the wash, it was actually a consensual relationship because
Mhm.
the young boy was strung out on dope, and by him sleeping with the old man would give up his social security check, would give up his pain meds and all that. And
Yeah.
listen, we don't talk enough about all these things, but
Control.
we're coming back and we're going to need to have those conversations. The reason I brought Jackson there,
Yes,
just
definitely.
to transition right now, is
Mhm.
if you haven't seen it, Alethea, have you seen Sinners yet? Have you seen the movie Sinners?
Ooh.
I had started watching it,
Mhm.
and I did not get all the way through, but I feel like I've watched it because it's so many people didn't talk about it
Mhm.
already, and one person broke it down in a biblical sense, and I was like, oh, and
Mhm.
they were like, well, this is not the like movie that y'all need to be watching, because this movie has a lot of underlying messages in it that we don't
Ooh.
really see. Like we just think that this is entertainment, but really, if you really dive into it, yeah, like y'all are
You
feeding
know,
y'all's
This movie has
spirits
already
some
surpassed Avatar. And so you know this was big. Mhm.
now, what made me laugh about this was the same folks that did that didn't criticize us when we watched Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy back in the day, and was watching The Rings. You know, it ceases to amaze me. And once again, we will criticize ourselves quicker than anybody else. I wonder, had Steven Spielberg came out with Sinners, would we have criticized it the way we did with Ryan Coogler? You know, and
not at all.
and here's why. Because Steven Spielberg came out with The Color Purple, and I ain't heard nobody go down and break it down the way they break down Sinners. You know, nobody went into The Color Purple and said, it's some messed up stuff. And then furthermore, the person who was the executive producer over all this don't even know what we really went through, because he ain't never went through what we went through. So with that being said, I think I like to talk about Sinners from a black and brown perspective, because I'm a black man. Y'all are both black women. And here's the perspective it's from. That movie was off the chain.
Yes.
From some things I saw that I heard other people expound on, that I would like to expound on. First of all, the Choctaw Indians.
Yes.
One of the things that was really deep to me about the Choctaw Indians, as they pursued, now listen to what I'm about to say, as they pursued this evil that had been on this land, in this land, long before other folks came to this land. The Choctaws pursued it and let the lady know something that I think people need to pay attention to, because you need to pay attention to this even when you're into relationships on a daily basis. He said, the person you let in your house may have presented himself one way, but he ain't who he say he is. And if he has put himself in your house, we need to act quickly before it's too late. See, many a times what folk don't get from that is, and I don't care if you're black, green, blue, purple with antennas on your head, you got to be careful who you welcome into your house. Because by doing so, and they may come to your doorstep and present to you a big, long sob story. I'm being pursued by these Choctaw Indians. They don't, you see how they don't beat me? They don't, see, folk will give you a sob story to get in your house. And once you let them in your house, they change your house into something that you never expected your house to be. See, we got to pay attention who we let in our house.
That's right.
That's one thing I got out of Sinners.
Yeah.
A lot of times you got to be careful who come to your house and ask to come in your house, and then you got to start asking questions. Why you want to come? Like my man said, wait a minute, hold up. Cornbread, you been coming in and out this club all night long.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you got to ask permission to come in.
Yeah, that's right.
Because sometimes people who in your house when they leave out your house, they run into certain spirits and things. And once them spirits get on them, they actually, when they come back to your house, that's really that spirit asking, can I come in? Because the person who left your house ain't the person that came back to your house.
That's
Think
right.
about that, y'all.
And also when they come back to your house, they don't come back alone.
Oh,
Them
ooh.
evil spirits do not roll alone. They
But-
roll
but-
with a multitude of demons right along with them.
But see, if we really want to go deeper than that, when we talk about who you let in your house, what
Yes.
does
Right.
what does the Bible say this is called?
The temple.
That's
The
right.
temple.
This is
The-
your temple. So
Right.
you have to be careful who you let in
That's right.
your house.
Hold it. There was a movie that came out, and a lot of folks didn't watch this movie, but I paid very close attention to
Mhm.
this movie. The name of the movie was It Follows.
Mhm.
It Follows. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. It
Mhm.
Follows. Because just like Sinners, it had a deeper undertone of what's really going on. One of the other things I loved about
Yes.
Sinners is how one of the favorite lines in Sinners, and I went back and I watch it all the time. The guy said, "Hey man, tell me about Chicago." He said, "Chicago ain't nothing but Mississippi with tall buildings."
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That was speaking about the Great Migration when we left the South, and many of us went to California. Many of us went to the east, the west, and to the north to get out of the South. These so much was in there, even with the young lady, and you and I can deal with that, Alethea, because we live in that society. That down here in Louisiana, there are individuals who are just like the young lady when the man said, "Well, wait a minute, we trying to get in here and be with y'all. How'd she get in here? Because she looked white
Yeah.
like us." And they said she family, because she really wasn't white. She was what they call in Louisiana passe blanc. I mean, she was such a light-skinned Black
Mhm.
individual that she looked literally white. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Many of us know that there is a class system here in Louisiana that has
Oh,
been
yeah.
in place for eons, where
Mhm.
individuals who were passe blanc or Black but look more white than Black have actually at times not
Mhm.
even dealt with Black and brown folks, because they
Mhm.
knew they didn't have to deal with us because they were received by the others.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's so deep. I mean, even with that part, with that sister, I mean, I know according to scripture, you are what your father is. So the lineage comes, it's in the book of Numbers. It comes from,
Right.
you know, your father's bloodline. But I mean, that movie has so many amazing nuggets in it. I mean, even with that one sister you're talking about now, you know, there was lust, you know, the
Right.
other beautiful brown skinned sister, there was adultery, you know,
Right.
and once she put it on that, you know, that young boy, right? He was willing and ready to do anything in his power to protect her, even though she meant no good for him. Right.
Right.
So there were so many. Yeah. I mean, if anybody out there is watching us and you have not seen it, I implore you to please go see that movie. It is so powerful. It's so powerful. My husband and I are actually working on partnering up, you know, right now. We're going to have about 300 people go to see the film. We're going to rent out the theater and have about 300 people go see the film because it is just impactful.
I mean, you've got to understand the historical content of it. First of all, so many of us, Black and brown folks, we are descendants of slaves who came into these ports,
Mm.
be it New Orleans, be it South Carolina, be it Virginia. They came into these ports, be it places in Florida, North Carolina, you know, all on the eastern seaboard, all on the Gulf of Mexico, which is
Yeah.
now better known as Gulf of America. I'm still waiting to Trump. I want Trump to start renaming some of these countries. Like, you know, let's rename Turkey chicken and go to Erdogan and say, you know what, we really like to rename your country chicken. And if you
Mhm.
got problem with it and you got some beef, we're gonna rename it beef. You know, I'm just saying, you know, and I think if Zelensky would come and say, look, we're not gonna call Ukraine, we're gonna call it Trump Crane.
Mm.
The Russians will never touch it because Trump will say, I dare you come and deal with my country.
Yeah.
You know, in
Mhm.
100 days of our now elected President Trump, you have to ask yourself, do you feel like you're better off today than you were 100 days ago? And
Yeah.
that's something every individual has to ask, and we'll talk about that. But back on Sinners,
Mm-hmm.
even in watching that, Sinners showed something that was deep, because when the vampire got into the house and he bit the Klansman and his wife, guess what? He came back and told the brother who owned the club. They sold you the club, but their plans was to burn the club down
Yeah.
the next day. Because watch this. And once again, it showed that we will only give you success for a moment.
Yeah. That you know, that movie is so true, and it's so funny because, especially, I'm not going to be, you know, the spoiler at the end, but even looking at it all the way to the end, that was so bold of Ryan
Right.
Coogler and the
Oh,
crew
yeah.
to handle it how they handled it in the end, because it was nothing but facts, pure facts. You
Right.
know, and I mean that was powerful, you know. So you know what, Ryan Coogler, prayers up for you and your family, and prayers up for Michael B. Jordan, my Brick City native, because you know what, they're going to come under fire and
So-
such scrutiny. Because go ahead, Joe.
So I wanted to share this with you, just to bookmark that.
Mhm.
They are now doing a Sinners universe.
Mhm.
There's actually going to be multiple movies around the theme of Sinners.
Mhm.
And I'm going to find that and put it out there, and put the link in here where you can see it. But the
Yeah.
guy was talking, just like they have the Marvel universe, they have different movies. They have different slated movies
Amen.
that have the Sinners theme that will continue this story, because I believe at the core of the story, and this is just my humble opinion, you got to go watch it yourself, you'll formulate yours, but there is a spiritual, historical, and a cultural aspect to why we are where we at today and why we do what we do. Because one of the things they didn't address in none of the conversations about Sinners,
Mhm.
and Alethea and I can relate to this because of where we live. I can relate to it because I now live here, and in Tennessee, I never heard of this, but I didn't hear of it until I got to Louisiana. They have people here they call tree tars.
Oh yeah.
And what folks didn't realize is that Smokes, the dark-skinned lady who was Smokes' woman, who
Mhm.
they had a child together and the child died, just to give a little bit of the movie, not to spoil it,
Yeah.
she was a tree tar. That's why, you know, and I laughed about this because that little thing he had around his neck, I can recall as a child, my mother putting a little thing like that around my neck when I was sick
Wow.
that smelled all to be damned. I used to be like, ooh, this stank. And no wonder I'm getting well, because whatever's in me, if it's smelling this, it's about to get out of here.
Dang.
But once again, there are times that we have to understand that our spirituality, key word here, I didn't say our Christianity,
That's right.
I didn't say our Muslim religion, I didn't say our Catholicism, I didn't say our Judaism, I said our spirituality
Mhm.
came from the ancestors and the ancestral plane of how there are things that are in you through your DNA. And that's why I highly recommend.
Ooh.
I know that you can't do 23andMe no more because they went bankrupt, but ancestral.com is still
Yes,
there.
that's true.
Hey,
Yeah.
go find out. Because when I found out, you know, that's why I'm very precautious now how I speak of folks who are not of the same melanin hue I am, because 9% of me is from Scotland.
Mhm.
9%, a whole 9, and that's a
Mhm.
pretty good chunk of change right there. You
Mhm.
know, 9%. If right now I had $1,000 and you told me you were going to take 9% of it, you still walking away with a pretty nice piece of change.
Mhm.
So, you know, family, you got to know who you are from where you came from, and
That's right.
understand this. We are all somewhere interwoven and connected to one another if you really believe.
Yeah, and you
Because
know what, Joe? Joe, even with that, Scripture talks about you know, regeneration, right? So
right,
also, like, we've all been here before, you know, in
right.
some way, shape, or form, right? So we're just regenerated. So there was a lady that I saw, it was floating around social media, and she was talking about, you know, like ancestry.com and like DNA, you know, sites and things of that nature. the purpose is not just so you can hook up, find out who your cousins are and stuff like that, but it's also to try to find out your genealogy, your lineage, because it traces back so far. So they're trying to find out, what bloodline do you come from? What bloodline could be potentially regenerating within, the genealogy of your sphere of influence, right? So maybe, you come from a line of royalty in terms of, kings and queens and princes and, all that kind of stuff. So they're really trying to track that down to see how they could then exterminate us before we even realize our greatness. And so we are the biggest threat, on the face of the earth, essentially. So that's why they tried for so long to keep us down and to not let us know who we are. So they're banning all those books. I'm reading a book now. I started reading it Friday night, and it's about Hebrew origins. And it's such a powerful book. And the book was written in the 1930s. And it's funny because the man that wrote the book, he did like a revision of it. And the whole maybe first 10 or 15 pages of his revision, he was kind of prefacing it by saying, hey, I wrote this book before, but I got a lot of flack because I was really telling the truth about what was going on. And then people were kind of coming at me. But I just want to apologize to those people, but I'm going to continue to tell the truth about who, the original people are. So they were paralleling, the pharaohs, during that time in ancient Egypt with, Moses and the Hebrews and who they were. And it's so powerful because it's our people, and that's why they're trying to outlaw it, for us to be able to recognize that and to be able to speak that aloud. Because once we do speak that aloud, they're like, oh no, you cannot continue to exist in the way that you do. So we're going to send you to El Salvador, Venezuela, or someplace else.
Right,
And
right.
banish
So
you
speaking
and
of
your whole
which,
bloodline.
on the center's tip, I want y'all to hear what Dr. Umar Johnson said. And this is really, to me, deep what Dr. Umar said. Let me get this where I can get this rolling. Hold on.
Music for evil. And so Delroy Lindo says certain musicians are born, Art, with such talent that their music has the ability to pierce the veil between this world and the other world. See, we don't understand how powerful music is, Art. What does the Bible say? In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That is metaphorical symbolism, Art, for the fact that everything created was created from sound and light.
Yep.
Everything in the universe comes from sound and light. So when you are a gifted musician, as Ryan Coogler was showing us in this movie, you either going to use your gift, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Prince, and all these greats, Donny Hathaway, and all these greats. You're going to use your music to serve the Lord, or you're going to use your music to serve the devil. It can't be both ways.
That's right.
And when you get involved in these demonic systems, the music industry in particular, you are lowering your frequency, and you are giving the spirits that control that evil society the chance to come in and isolate your soul, isolate his music for evil. And so Delroy Lindo says certain musicians are born, Art, with such talent that their music has the ability to pierce the veil between this world and the other world.
Wow.
See,
That's deep. And that's true. And when you think about it, Joe, and Alethea, when you think about these record label executives, and one of the men in the film, he personified, that basically that record label executive, because when these young men and women are trying to get these, especially hip hop, trying to get these deals, they're in there jumping on tables, running around, as much buffoonery as you could possibly think. And the more foolish we sound, and the more words that we speak that can degrade our society and our culture and our mamas and our sisters and our brothers, the better those executives like it. And they'll give us that deal. They'll give us all that money. They'll take out life insurance policies on us. They'll take life insurance policies out on our mans and them, right? Because they know ultimately what is going to happen. So it's the same thing as it was in chattel slavery. We are still nothing but mere property to them. And they're going to do what they please until we wake up and do what we're supposed to do and follow God's laws and do the right thing. And we come together to get the victory. But as long as a house divided cannot stand, we're going to continue to be divided, laying flat on the ground.
We just finished speaking about earlier before you
That's
came
how
on.
it
We were
goes.
talking about Shedeur Sanders and how in this draft, here is this highly talented African-American male. Folk out there needing a quarterback. I can name numerous teams that needed a quarterback. My team, the team that I roll with, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we needed a quarterback. We skipped on Shedeur. The New Orleans Saints, they needed a quarterback. They skipped on Shedeur. The New York Giants, they needed a quarterback. They skipped on Shedeur. And once again, it is putting into the minds of young, gifted, talented African Americans, Black and brown, young men and women, we will only deal with you as long as we can keep you chained. You cannot be unchained. You cannot be on your own doing what you feel is right. We have to tell you what is right for you. And I hate to say it, the NFL showed me very much when I was trying to believe that the NFL had moved away from that. It still is a plantation mentality.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look how the combine goes. You know, what are they doing? They're measuring your wingspan and they're measuring your height. And, you know, it's the same thing. Like when we had to stand on that auction block. When we stood on that auction block and they were looking how you know, well endowed the men were, or because they would look at that as a sign of he's going to be a good breeder, right? They would look at his leg. They would look at the woman's hips and her backside, you know, to you know, they would think about the reproduction. We were just animals to them, you know, but we're the ones that civilized them in the first place. So it's still the same plantation mentality.
I feel like they were trying to make a statement. They were trying to make an example out of him, and they were trying to humble him and let people know, I don't care who your daddy is.
That's right.
I don't care. Like we gonna humble you just a little bit. And I feel like that's why they kept passing him over, because they were trying to make a statement.
And the statement was, Alethea and Jax, is if we'll do it to Shedeur and his father Dion, then we will do it to you. So once again, it is a way of, just like with George Floyd, a way of putting us on a page that makes us say they don't care about us.
That's right. It's modern day buck breaking. they did the same thing in slavery, buck breaking.
Come on.
You know?
They basically tried to put him in his place.
Chin check.
So
yeah,
I want to take time out. I want to take time out. I see Michael Keefe. I see Jules Walls. I see some people on Instagram. Big ups to those people on Instagram. Seeing people on YouTube. Big ups to my folks on YouTube. Of course, the people that are coming on Facebook. Yeah, we're Bizak. And we're going to be Bizak on a daily basis. We might not talk about a lot. We might not talk about what you want us to talk about, but we are going to be on here giving the conversation and bringing up things that we feel like you need to know. And once again, before the young ladies came on, and I'm so blessed always when I'm in the presence of Sister Jax and Sister Alethea, I was going to say this and I'm going to say it again because y'all need to hear it. Y'all need to hear it. I know a lot of folks, it's Kentucky Derby Day and so much other things, and everybody's celebrating this, that, these, and the third. But I want to say this because there might be somebody out there that feels like this. And that's the reason why early this morning I put that out there. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to believe in you even when everybody else don't believe in you.
That's right.
You need to believe in you when nobody's got your back and nobody's on your side. If it's just you and the Lord and you got to go out there and do what you got to do to get what you got to get and be who you need to be, then you got to do it. I know it's a heavy load to carry when you're carrying the dreams that nobody else can see. That when you're showing up every day and life keeps hitting you in the face and it hits you hard. But guess what? Say to yourself this, if I don't do it for me, who's going to do it? And you got to understand that even the Bible says everybody who started the race with you may not end the race with you. As long as you end the race and you end it with God, and in the process of you making it to the finish line, you kept your integrity.
That's right.
See, that's something that nobody really want to talk about.
That's right. And you know what, Joe? That's like with the Kentucky Derby. What happens with the horses when these horses are running? They have blinders on, right? So all
Come
they
on.
can see is what's right in front of them. They can see that finish line.
Come on.
That's what they're trying to get to. They're not worried about who's over here or who's over there. Stay zeroed in and stay locked in. And that's what we have to do more often is stay locked in and don't worry about who's around you.
To use
Don't let distractions come.
to use a brother who would say this quite often.
Mhm.
Let me give you a prime example. There was a photo that went out of Donald Trump as the Pope.
Oh yeah.
Had that picture went out of Barack Obama
Oh,
the
child.
or as Kamala Harris as the Pope, the world would be on fire right now.
Mhm.
The world would be on fire right now. Once again, we got the same, we got two different rulers measuring the same inch, because it's really telling us subliminally, you can't do what we do.
That's right.
You can't do what we do. You can't go where we go. You can't make the money that we make. Guess what? You sell 1 pound of weed and we catch you, we will put you away for life.
Mhm.
However, I can be convicted 32 times, 33 times. I can literally shoot a person in the middle of New York City,
Mhm.
and you will elect me back to be the president of the United States of America. But you, on the other hand, my good friend,
Mhm.
you go steal a can of our any sausages. And if it's your third time, I'm going to put you away for life.
Yeah.
They,
And you know, Joe, like,
they
are we
act-
surprised? Like, are
No.
we surprised? This is when you look back on it, you know, Joe, when you were a little boy, like Martin Luther King was still, you know, stomping and still trying to get stuff done. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
So it's like
Right?
it was not that long ago. So
Right.
somehow we've gotten so enthralled within this system and so integrated and become so much of this world that we want to forgive everybody so quick and act like it didn't happen. This has happened like yesterday. Right?
Right.
It's happened yesterday, but we try to act like we're so surprised that we're not getting the justice and the rights and all of this stuff. Well, damn it, they flooded every, you know, illustrious, beautiful place that we have within our communities of Black excellence and wealth just yesterday. You know, so we really have to wake up and do what it is we need to do.
I'm going to go to Sister
this
Alicia.
man,
We got 13 minutes to the top of the hour before we get ready to get up out of here. But here's one thing that bothers me more than anything else. And let me go back to Sister Alethea is getting ready to have a great event in Orlando, Florida, the first weekend in August. And I'm doing everything I can. I'm going to be talking to her. I'm trying my best to work with her and make my way to Orlando to be a part of the event. But let me say this, and this is deep. With all the millionaires, billionaires,
Mhm.
and wealthy folks we have in our community that are Black and brown that look like you and I,
Mhm.
why can we not join forces and support one another, that we create our own system and utopia where we don't have to deal with folks who really don't want to deal with us, with this DEI that's going on and this crossing DEI out and council culture with DEI? Why don't we get together with the folks like the Oprahs, like the Johnsons, like the individuals who are the millionaires and billionaires and the ultra wealthy in our community? We have Black and brown folks that got money.
Yeah, yeah. But you know
for
what,
some-
Joe? Unfortunately, some of the
because
ones
they
that
forget about the time that they didn't have money.
Yeah, you are so right. And not only do they forget, they're also bought by those that have even more money.
Facts.
So they're too afraid to stand up and speak up truthfully and do what needs to be done for our people. They might give a scholarship here, a scholarship there, build a little school here, a little school there. And yes, kudos to that, right? But in the whole scheme of things, they know what the hell is going on, and they're bought. Many of them are bought. So they're afraid to speak up.
So-
and Joe, that even goes to a lot of the pastors within a lot of these churches within our communities. The same thing. They're bought too.
Hey, I just said earlier before you ladies come on, I
Mhm.
don't have a cash app running at the bottom. I'm not asking you to sow into my ministry because I'm not a minister. I'm not a pastor. I'm just here speaking the truth that I know that the Most High put into me to speak out to the folks. And hopefully I will get folks, and we will get folks to begin to think. I say it constantly. I'm not here to tell you what to think, how to think, but I am telling you, you need to think and go and research it yourself, because understand what might be good for me might not be good for you. And that doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong. It just means some folks can eat a certain thing and it's nourishment. Other folks can eat the same thing and it's death.
That's right.
And you got to know what you can eat on and what you can't eat on. And with that being said, as we get ready to close out here, we got 10 minutes. I want to say this because I see Willie Pickens is in here. And hello, Willie. How are you doing?
What's up, my brother?
In this area, there are people getting ready to talk about taxes and tax renewals and things of this nature. And once again, I'm going to say this the best way I can say it. I can't talk all that political jive with people. I can only tell you how I feel. If, and I'm not telling you what I make because that's none of your business, but let's just hypothetically say I made $1,000 a month and my lifestyle and my bills were consistent on me making $1,000 a month. And all of a sudden my boss came to me and said, Joe, we're going to have to cut your pay by 40 or 30% a month. So now I'm making either $700 or $600 a month, but I still have bills as if I am $1,000 a month making person. Sometimes y'all got to ask yourself, if it's bad in the community I live in with the taxes that they are collecting right now, if they stop collecting this tax, how much worse would it get? If it's bad now, if you look around and say, oh, my roads are messed up and this is how much tax money we're getting. We don't have enough police. This is how much tax money we're getting. We don't have enough firefighters. This is how much tax money we're getting. We don't have enough ambulances to pick up the sick, and we don't have enough to help the community with the money that we're getting right now. If there's a 1 cent or a 2 cent sale tax going on, let's just say one day somebody says, no, we don't want those taxes no more.
Yeah.
Then that's going to take 30 or 40% out of your city's budget to fix what already seems to be terribly broken. My question is, had that been you?
That's
and
right.
you were making $1,000, how would you react if somebody said, we're going to take 30 or 40% of your check, but you need to keep on making it work like you were making the full 1,000?
And you know what, Joe? I'm so glad you brought that up, because with these tariffs and this whole situation going on, there's a website they can go to, right? And you can see basically in real time the cargo ships that are going in and out of all these different ports. Newark has a really big port, Philadelphia, DC, like there's ports all around, right? But if you look at the port, yeah, exactly. But if you look at it, and they're very empty right about now, very scarce. The ships is very scarce in the ports right now. But if you look in China, it's still popping, right? Still busting over there, because they're still, shipping their stuff all around, their continent, right? Whereas here, a lot of the stuff is not coming in. So typically with the tariffs, it takes about 90 days for it to really hit. So guess what? Within the next few weeks, by the end of this month, when those tariffs really hit and we really see those shortages, we need to make sure right now, like this week, tomorrow, if you have any extra money, go get stock up on some of your extra supplies, some, batteries, toilet paper, whatever it is that you need, start to stock up now. Because once those tariffs hit, it's not to say some of the items might not be in the store. They might be in the store, but guess what? Guess what they can do to the prices? Can we then afford them? That's the thing.
But
Can we afford them?
When they interviewed this man after his 100 days, they said a lot of people are very unhappy with the way things are going. He said, no, nobody is unhappy. They asked for this.
Yeah. See?
And he not lying.
That's right.
They asked for this. Like he's basically saying, I told you what I was gonna do before I did it. And y'all still ask for this. So you get what you get and you don't
get upset.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all knew what it was. I told y'all, and y'all still got me here. So now I am doing exactly what I said I was going to do. So y'all cannot get mad.
Yeah, and you know, Alethea, also, so along with the basic toilet paper and the essential household items and food, make sure, even if your car needs service, get your car service now. Because guess
Mm.
what? When you can't get those parts in from China or wherever else they need to come in from, and you can't get it, or once it comes in, it's an astronomical amount. And I know, even for me, right? Like I have a luxury car, so with both of our cars, so the basic oil change is a lot of damn money. You can't get no oil change for our cars for $50 for the oil change. So get what you can get and get it now. Like don't wait, because guess what?
Hey.
By the end of the month, by the summertime, you're gonna be hit. You're gonna be hit. And then on
Hard.
top of it, what they're talking about doing also now, which should be getting ready to roll out, in terms of having National Guards come in to the inner cities to monitor what's going on with our young babies in the inner city. And so guess what? They see something going down, they could snatch us up like that and ship us out to to Surkai or wherever they need to ship us out to, Venezuela, whatever other countries. El Salvador, we got to be ready, y'all. We got to be ready.
I mean, you got to pay attention, and I kind of was wanting to leave, but look like we're going to do a little overtime on this before we go. Listen, first of all, you got to pay attention, not to make a comparison to, but once again, just like in the Bible, Pilate put before you Barabbas and Jesus. Which one do y'all want to, so we let Barabbas loose. Hey, he cool.
Yeah.
Let him continue to steal, rob, rape, do all his dirty tricks in our community. This is nothing new, family. Like I said, if you really take time and look at all of this, and not to talk about anybody in a negative manner, and I don't want nobody saying this, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. This man put a picture of him up as the Pope. That ain't satire. That's not ha kiki.
Yeah.
Because had anyone else did that, the world would be on fire right now. Once again, this man has the lowest ratings of any president in modern times within the first 100 days. But like he said,
y'all asked for this.
Yeah, Barabbas.
That's right.
Or Jesus.
That's right.
You had a choice.
And his followers ain't no joke.
Watch this.
They ain't playing.
Write this. Hold on. You didn't have to vote Trump in, but y'all felt between. Hold it. And on paper, he wasn't the better choice. Let's just call it what it was. But y'all had a choice between, not to make the comparison the same, but Barabbas or Jesus. And y'all said, guess what? Barabbas, you can be president. Come on. This man, let's just call some of the stuff he did. Once again, you go steal, you sell an ounce of weed, you going to jail maybe for life. This man's got 30-some felonies, ain't spent a day in nobody's jail or prison.
Nope.
Okay, so once again, what they are telling you is, you do a little. We got this system where if you do a little, we can literally send you to the death chamber if we feel like it. Be exact. Hold on. They just let a man go who was convicted of raping 2 twin girls 44 years ago, but now they proved that he didn't do it, and all they gave him was a handshake and said, now you're free. 44 years of this man's life he spent in the prison because he was accused of raping 2 little girls who I think were 16 at the time, but now it's then came out that the man didn't do it. They shook his hand and said, now you got your freedom. 44 years of my life has been put in jail on a lie. And all you can do is shake my hand. See, what they're showing you is, even if we get caught up and you prove that we put you in wrongly, you don't get nothing but your life back. You don't get no compensation. You don't get nothing. You get your life back. Family, if you ain't realizing how they treating black and brown folks in this country, then watch this. Somebody gonna inbox me tomorrow talking about when they see the replay. Well, maybe you need to go somewhere else.
Of course.
You know what my response to that is? Maybe you're right. Maybe I just haven't taken enough time to look at the right place to go where I can have a better life and be treated as a equal citizen in that land, instead of being treated as a second-class citizen as I am here. Because some of you don't look at black and brown folks as human beings.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't even look at ourselves as human beings. That's why we get caught up in the BS that we catch ourselves in. That's why it's so easy for some of our young brothers and sisters in the hoods to pull the trigger, because we don't even look at each other as, that's my brother, that's my sister. You know, she could be my auntie, or she could be my grandma, or that could be my little niece, right? Sometimes we just don't care. So we've gotten so caught up, and we are so far away from God, and just so emotionally at a deficit, so mentally and spiritually at a deficit, that we don't know whether we're coming or going. You know, the music we listen to, the things we watch on television, the things we watch on our phone, you know, we're guided by lust. And, you know, I mean, yes, of course, there's greatness amongst us. We know that. But somehow we always so often forget it. But we got to go out to Orlando and support my sister Alethea. Go ahead, tell us about Alethea.
Come on, Alethea. I put it up there for a reason. Let's go.
This is my champion wellness event. It's all things mental health. It is transformative. It is several workshops to give you the tools to become your favorite version of yourself. We're going to do a lot of self reflection, mirror work, shadow work. We're going to have speakers there. Like, it is going to be a mental health weekend. And we're also going to have a red carpet gala where you get to dress up and come out there and shine like the star I know that you are. It is all about choosing you, because a lot of times we don't do this. This weekend is all about choosing you and becoming who you were meant to be, not what everybody else expects you to be, to become who you were meant to be. So that's what this weekend is all about.
Well, family, you're going to
Beautiful.
see that flyer up on my page and other places.
That's right. Same here.
It is 1 minute past the top of the hour.
Thank you.
It is time for me to call it a night, but I'm just here to say, guess what? Alethea, Jax, myself, we'll be bringing on other folks. We're back. We're back. Just know we're back. I don't know what time we're back, but every day, just know we're back. And we're going to be speaking about the issues that affect us as a people. And understand, we're here to give you conversation that informs, inspires, and transforms, because we want you to be a better you. With that being said, Sister Jax, Sister Alethea, let me start with Sister Alethea. No, let me start with Sister Alethea. Give me some closing words, Sister Alethea. Give it up for me.
In all things, choose you. Every day, choose you. Then choose you again and again and again. Because you are worth showing up for. Even when it's hard, show up and choose you. Now go out there and be great in their face and be who you were meant to be, and have a good day on purpose. You're welcome.
That part, Sister Jax.
She's so cute. Oh my God, I love that girl. She's so cute. Yeah, it's been great hopping on for a little bit with you guys tonight. If nobody told you they love you, you already know who loves you, y'all. Who loves you? Your girl Jax. And I love you with the red lips. So Alethea, I'm gonna get that to you
Yes.
right after we get on, boo.
Thank you. Yes, because I need it.
That's right. But everybody, just have an amazing evening. You know, say your prayers before bed. Before you put your head down on that pillow, just talk to the Most High in whatever way you need to talk to Him, and just get some things off your chest. Just let it go. Don't go to bed stressed out. Don't go to bed bitter and angry and just feeling hurt and downtrodden and overwhelmed, because the Most High does not want us to feel that way. The Most High wants us to be victorious and to serve Him. So if you love me, the Bible says, keep my commandments. So let's go forward with joy, peace, and long suffering, fruits of the Spirit. I love you guys. Be safe, and I'll see you soon. Peace out.
That part. So family, as I always say, be better and not bitter. Be better today than you were yesterday, and do something as we make our way into Monday and make it happen Monday. That is a blessing to somebody that there's no earthly way that they can ever pay you back. And always remember that there is no secret what God can do, what He has done for others, He will and He can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. So on the behalf of myself, Sister Jax, Sister Alethea, everybody here who does hashtag Truth Be Told, Connect the Dots, Community Conversation, yes, we're back. And guess what? We're happy that you're here. Share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're back. And we're going to keep doing what we do until the Most High tell us something else. So we got nothing but love for y'all. Always be kind to one another, love one another, and as my sisters would say, be the best you that you can be. We up out of here. Peace.